Hi, everybody. I'm Jess.
And I'm Kristen.
Welcome to Shituations, the Poop Podcast, the shittiest podcast you'll ever hear.
Where we talk about all things poop related, from your crappiest stories to your most pressing questions. So come listen, because we have something for every asshole. Everybody's poop smells. Don't listen to anybody that says that it doesn't, because it does. Woman gets stuck in window trying to retrieve poop. We're trying to get rid of the stigma around poop.
Absolutely.
Everybody poops.
Everybody poops. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Shituations, the Poop Podcast. Kristen and I are super excited to bring this to you. We think that this topic is one of the most universal topics ever, and we're really excited for this podcast to take off. So, Kristen and I are two sisters who live across the country from each other. She's in Hawaii, I'm in Rhode Island, and we really just want to talk about all of the concepts relating to poop. They could be entertaining, educational, they could be funny. It's the one thing that we all have in common, and so we're just really excited to bring it to you. Kristen, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I'm just super excited to be doing this. It was one of those kind of random thoughts or ideas that's kind of finally coming to fruition. So I'm excited about it, and I'm just excited to have fun, to laugh a little bit.
Yeah, we hope you guys will laugh with us too. This is one of those topics that doesn't matter what religion you are, doesn't matter what language you speak, what country you're from, everybody poops. I think what is fun is the way that I came into this idea of the poop podcast. It was spawned from COVID and lockdown and being stuck in the house forever. And I had found an ad for a bidet company that wanted a VP of poop, and they wanted someone to run an Instagram account about poop every day. And I couldn't think of a bunch of pictures to post for Instagram every day, but I definitely could think of a bunch of topics. And you know why that is, Kristen?
Because everybody poops.
Because you and I specifically have always talked about poop growing up. Our entire lives. I still do this to this day because you used to do it, is if you're in a group of people and someone has walked away and they've kind of been gone for a little bit, and people are like, hey, like, where did Kristen go? And she's pooping. She's got to be pooping. And so that's how I wanted to get into this. And that's kind of my background in this topic. But Kristen, what is it that made you want to do this with me?
Well, again, the topic of poop has definitely been something that I've always talked about, like you said. But also, I have a group of friends out here, and birds of a feather tend to flock together. So a lot of my friends out here also constantly talk about poop. And when you came to me, again, it's just a normal topic of conversation for us, and I don't know why it is, but they're just really comfortable talking about it. And there's so many stories that everyone has, and they're just funny. They're funny, and I think people get really embarrassed about it, and people can be really shy about it, and I just wanted to have a place where we could bring as much fun to everyone else that we have with our own friends here and with each other, with us talking about these funny stories. Because I don't think there's ever been a story about poop that we've left that we haven't been laughing. It always ends up in laughter. It makes everyone in a good mood. It just is playful. And there's so, like you said, there's so many topics regarding poop. Like you were even talking about, no matter what culture or what religion people have, everybody poops. But it's interesting because different cultures poop in different ways. Right?
Yeah.
Like supposedly toilets in Europe flush in the opposite direction. People, it's like an insult in certain countries to wave with your right hand because it's known universally that's the hand you wipe with. There's just so many different things that not nobody, but that a lot of people don't know when it comes to poop. And I think it's just interesting to me to talk about it. And it's also playful and fun. And when you brought this idea to me, I was super excited, obviously, to be able to talk to you and like just have playful conversation with you every week. But with every day life and being an adult, I think there's so much stress and, the grind and routine, and things can get boring. And it just sounded like a really fun opportunity. It sounded like something playful, and that I think is what drew me to it the most.
Oh, well, I love talking to you every week too. This is so fun. And I love too that you and I are so similar, right? Your friends have my friends have mixed us up. Your friends talk about how we're basically clones of each other. And so I just love that this is an outlet for you and me to be stupid together and just embrace how funny we are, because we are hilarious.
Yeah, so funny. I mean, even if we laugh the hardest at our own jokes, that's fine.
Yeah, at least we're laughing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love this concept of kind of removing the shame and embarrassment from something that we literally all do. And yet, like you said, everyone has this embarrassment around it. And don't get me wrong, I have my own embarrassments too. And there are definitely stories out there that, like, what makes it funny is how embarrassing it is. And right, it makes you want to cringe. But like, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you. Because if you can't laugh at yourself, then what are you doing in life? I think you are one of those people who's very good at just laughing at yourself. And everyone needs to be able to do that. And, you know, I think between the two of us, we have our own stories that we could help guide people.
When did you actually bring this episode to my attention? Or not the episode, but the podcast?
So I think the first time you and I talked about it was it two or 3 years ago when we had a ski trip in Canada. It was a bunch of your friends, you and me, and we were just sitting in the Airbnb one night talking about poop, as you just explained your friend group does and I do. And I think what had happened was specifically you guys were trying to come up with the idea of some kind of poop app or website that you were collectively trying to create. And I was like, guys, guess what? I have this podcast idea. So that was the first time it came up. And then we all just rallied around this idea of this podcast. And I had already had an interview or two with some people that I had banked, but didn't really know what to do with them yet. And then another time you had come home and I shared with you the interview. And we were driving to, I think, our brother's house. And you were like, I want in. Let's do it.
Yeah, so fun. I mean, it's just one of those two where, again, like when you brought it up, and that's right, I remember Canada now, but when you brought it up, I just remember instantly being like, oh yeah, and thinking of immediately 5 different stories that came to my head about someone having some kind of embarrassing story around poop that was hilarious. And it was just instantaneous. Like my brain just like flared with all of these different ideas. So yeah, it just made perfect sense. And then it sounded fun.
And you know what I find really interesting too? Anytime I bring this up to people and tell them this is what I'm doing, 99% of the time, everyone is ecstatic. They are either excited to listen, excited because they want to tell their own stories. They're like, oh, I need to tell you my story because it's ridiculous. So basically, I'm saying no one is disgusted when you bring up this story or this idea of a podcast about poop. They are all super excited about it and want to listen, which just drives me even more to think that this is a good idea. I think one of my favorite stories personally that I heard is, I think you've heard it too, is the girl who was on a date. It was like a first date or something. And we'll have to I wonder if I can find the recording of this because I'm very positive it's a voicemail recording that is out on the internet. This girl was on a date with a guy at his house and she went to the bathroom and she pooped and the poop was not flushing. So she saw a litter box in the bathroom. And so she took the poop out of the litter box, took the poop out of the toilet, put it in the litter box and was like, I can't leave this giant hunking poop in his toilet and not flush it, so we'll just put it in the litter box, pretend the cat did it, whatever. She goes back to the living room, continues watching her Netflix, and he goes to the bathroom, and he comes out, and he's like, hey, did you poop in my litter box? And she's like, no, why? And he's like, well, just because my cat died last week, so, like, I don't know why there's poop in the litter box. And so the context of this story is she has called her sister to say, like, hey, I really need you to come get me because this is what happened and I can't show my face. Please just come get me now.
I feel for her. I really do. God, yeah, it's funny. And I mean, I feel for her. So again, we're not laughing at this poor girl. But what are you going to do? Like, it is funny. Like, it's funny. I mean, in the moment, for sure, it's mortifying and horrible and so much panic is involved. But there's just but I think we also want people to know that we're really not that different. Did you see? I feel like there was a story. I don't know if it's an old story and it's just resurfacing or if it's a recent one, but a girl, I feel like it was some kind of a date. I don't know if it was a Tinder date or something like that. She pooped at the person's house. I don't think it would flush. She said she had to leave. She left. Tried, I don't know if it was like a city dwelling or what the situation was, but she tried to come back like through the window, but the way the window was, like with the wall next to it, it was something really weird, and I don't really even understand the logistics of how this happened. She got stuck like upside down in between the window and something else, and cause she was trying to sneak back to grab the poop out of the toilet. And
What?
actually, let me look and, yes. Let me look and see, because I don't even really understand how.
What? The logic.
Yeah,
what?
I know, I don't really.
Because was it like immediate? Because if she waited any number of like hours, you would assume the guy went to the bathroom and flushed.
I think it was, I think part of the, I think it was
So did she like immediately walk out his front door around the back of his house to try to then sneak into his house and take the poop out? At that point, she should have just like put it in her purse and taken it with her.
Woman gets stuck in window trying to retrieve poo. It's like one of the first thing that comes up. I think it happened in Europe because it's BBC News.
Oh my God.
Woman who threw her poo out of her date's toilet window because it would not flush had to be rescued after she got stuck trying to retrieve it. Amateur gymnast was on a first date with Bristol student Liam
I love
Smith
that they include
when she
amateur
panicked.
gymnast.
I know, and threw the feces out the window. It did not land in the garden, but it became wedged between two opening windows. After climbing in head first after it, she became wedged. Mr. Smith had to call fire service for help. I don't understand. Yeah, I'm still, like, there are some photos attached, and I really don't understand the logistics of how she got caught in the window.
The amateur gymnast is a great dig to just add in there.
And there's a quote here that says, "We'd had a really nice evening," he said. "We'd had a meal at a well-known chicken restaurant, had a few beers, then got back to mine for a bottle of wine and a film." He said the woman went to the toilet. When she came back, she had a panicked look in her eye and told him what she had done. He said the toilet window opened into a narrow gap separated by another double-glazed window.
Oh.
It was into this twilight zone that my date had thrown her poo. He went to find a hammer to smash the window, but she decided to climb in head first after the offending package and became jammed. I was starting to grow concerned, so I called the fire brigade, and once they had composed themselves, they set to work retrieving her from the window. Oh, man, that is just...
Oh, what hell
just
the
leave me
first
here.
date?
Just leave me here. I just want to die. At least she went to get him.
Yes,
and told
she did
him,
tell
and he was aware of her going into the window. Could you imagine if she didn't say anything and then just was like, "I am panicking, I need to get this poop," and just climbed in there and couldn't get herself out, couldn't call for him, and then he was like, went looking for her, and she's just head first out his window and stuck with poop in her hand, like.
Oh my God. Oh no.
You know, I think this is another thing about this show that we're hosting. I think it's going to be great because I think there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Like stigma, I feel like, around poop. Like people are, it's like, you know, they're scared of it, stinky. Like I think there's a lot of people that probably have a lot of questions around poop. And they're afraid to ask because it's a little embarrassing. So I think they're going to learn a lot from the show.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to get rid of the stigma around poop.
Absolutely.
Everybody poops.
It's okay to poop. Everybody poops.
Everybody's poop smells. Don't listen to anybody that says that it doesn't, because it does.
Oh my God.
I will say, there's no shortage of information when it comes to poop.
Yeah, this is going to be a great podcast to help people get more comfortable. Because, yeah, if you find yourself on a ship and you have taken a dump that is not going down, or if you find yourself on a date and you've taken a dump and it will not go down, it's okay. There are solutions that you don't have to make fool of yourself for. It's more embarrassing what will happen if you try to avoid it than it is to just say, hey, I clogged your toilet.
So I took a shit and it didn't go down.
So actually,
honestly, you know what I do? Okay, here's a lesson for people. If you are on a first date and you really have to shit, flush the toilet first before you sit down.
Ah, genius.
I've done that on numerous occasions where I'm like, just because of the situation, I'm just going to double check first. And I'll check. I'm like, okay, the toilet flushes.
Genius. So simple.
Because there are places, too, like even one of the places I work has a finicky toilet. And I feel like every other day it's got a sign that's, like, out of order. It just is common, especially in places where they're like, high usage. So just flush the toilet first and make sure it flushes. Also, another thing that can help you out, courtesy flush.
Like as you're pooping, you flush?
Because then... Yes, because it'll help with smell, but also if you're worried about the toilet backing up, you're not going to be flushing all of your toilet paper and the poop at the same time. So just while you're sitting on the toilet, once you've gone, flush the toilet, then wipe and then flush your toilet paper. 3 flushes. It's maybe a waste of water, but if you're really scared, just a little helpful hint, try it out.
Your ego will be safe. Your reputation will be safe. I have done that when I call it an exorcism, when I'm just like on the toilet and I think my life is about to end because I'm shitting so much and my stomach hurts and stuff. I just know that like I'm not going to stop. It just keeps coming. So I'll flush like during the session. Like I'm not even done pooping, but I'll still flush just to kind of keep it moving.
Yeah. It also helps with the smell. If you're embarrassed about the smell, if you just flush as you go, it doesn't really give it a chance to permeate the air.
Yeah.
It's still going to have a little bit of smell. You can't avoid it. But I just feel like, let's be smarter, everybody. Let's just stop and think for a second. And I feel like a lot of our problems will go away. But I hope this does become a safe space for everyone. You don't even have to tell your friends that you're listening to it, but come here and we will answer any question you have, no judgment. We will tell all of the stories, so maybe you won't feel as bad about something embarrassing that you've done. None of us are really that different.
We are not. And to prove it, I will share a personal situation that it's actually just came to my mind as we're talking about this. I have done the, like, try to fish your poop out of a toilet. I was dog walking for a neighbor, and they had a really nice house, and they were never home. That's obviously why I was the dog walker. I would take care of the dogs for like an hour or two, and then I'd lock up their house and leave. And I had to use the bathroom, and it was a solid shit. I was honestly very proud of this log. I flushed. It didn't go anywhere, and I panicked. Now, I was in high school. I was probably like 16 or 17, and I flushed a couple times. It wasn't going anywhere. I did not know what to do. I think...
Was it so it wasn't...
The toilet wasn't filling.
It wasn't flushing? Okay, it wasn't filling. Okay.
Right. It was just it was a poop that refused to flush. And I think I had found... They had, like, those little wax cups that you have at your sink to, like...
Yeah, like the Dixie cups?
Yeah, for mouthwash and whatever. I think I had taken 1 or 2 of those, and I reached into the toilet, and I tried to scoop the poop, and I think I was successful. And a part of
What did you do with it once you scooped it?
I truly don't remember in the full detail.
How do you not remember? This is a significant life story.
I remember that I didn't follow through. I think a part of me, I think I might have gotten like half of it and thrown it in the trash and just looked at it in the trash and was like, what am I supposed to do with it now? Like, I'll obviously throw it out, but like, I was in such a panic.
This is spiraling. You're like, this is starting to spiral. Things are starting to get worse.
It's
now
true.
I don't know.
It's true. The panic is real and it sets in, and so I've been there, listeners. You're not alone. I have been where you are. Breathe. The panic will set in. Breathe past it. It's okay. Part of my panic was that they weren't home, and I couldn't say, because the house owner, she was delightful, the sweetest woman. If I had said, hey, I've clogged your toilet, she would have been kind, but they weren't going to be home for like another 4 hours.
So they were just going to come home to this massive log in their toilet. And that's, I think, what scared me the most. I think ultimately I tried to flush again, and I think the fourth or fifth flush went down. But I've been there. I have felt the panic. I have tried to retrieve. Luckily, I did not get stuck in any windows or put them in any fake cat boxes, litter boxes or whatever. But yes.
Well, speaking of flushing and the water not overflowing, for people that are trying to flush and the water is starting to raise in the bowl, again, the panic starts to set in. I have a tip.
Ooh, I love this.
It's not in all toilets, because if you're like in a public restroom, it's not the same situation. But if you're in your home, there's the valve, behind your toilet.
Okay.
There's the water valve. It's like a little oval metal turny knob. Okay? If you're at home right now, go and look behind your toilet. There's a hose that basically, a metal hose that hooks to your toilet that helps the flow of water so that when you flush, it refills the tank. Connected to that is a little oval knob. If you turn it to the right, it turns the water off. So the second that you see that the poop is not going down, but the water is still flowing, just immediately turn that all the way to the right, and it's going to shut off the water, and it'll stop filling the bowl. Now you got to deal with the fact that the poop's not going down, but at least it's not going to be overflowing onto your bathroom floor.
I love this.
Little tip and trick for
you
a
You are going to be
situation.
our resident expert for this, for our audience.
Hopefully. I mean, don't ask me why I know how to do that. I've had my fair share of poops that won't go down. So I actually had a situation, not a severe situation, but just one of those more embarrassing, like this is kind of just unfortunate. So our house, for some reason, when they put the plumbing in and then the pipes that are underground in the backyard, they are at a slight upward angle. So over time, if there's any kind of like grease or, even if it's not intentional, little bits over time, the water will go, but then what's the verbiage I'm looking for, Jess? The density, like the different density of
poop, sewage,
products that are, well, just anything, it's like grease, fat, whatever. The water will go, but then
So does this include like your kitchen sinks, not just your toilet?
Yes. Yeah. It's like essentially everything ends up going into this pipe in the backyard. It like all filters to this one spot. And the pipe is like it's not downward. It's for some reason, like they didn't do a great job putting it in. So over time, like the fat and grease and things like that might make it into the pipe stays, like the water will go, but then that floats back and it eventually calcifies. And over time, it hardens so much that it blocks the pathway to the pipe. So we didn't know this when we first moved in, and after like a year or two of living there, we started having we would try to flush, and luckily almost every house here in Hawaii has an outdoor washing machine, and it has a sink, like a big kind of plastic wash dump kind of sink that the water from the washing machine dumps into, and then it drains through the pipes. So luckily, we were having this issue where that pipe in the backyard got blocked. All of that stuff had calcified in the pipe, and the toilet paper would get stuck, and then it just, over time, it just got blocked and wouldn't go down. So we were trying to flush, and it would, luckily the toilet would flush because the blockage wasn't at the toilet, it was in the backyard. So the water would go down in the bathroom, but then it would flow into that sink in the backyard, and we were like, okay, what the hell is happening? It was just sitting in there.
Come up from the drain, like up through the pipe.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and fill the sink in the backyard because from there, it couldn't go any further. So that's what was happening. So luckily, we didn't have the issue where it was flowing into our house or anything like that. It wasn't overflowing the toilet, but it was flowing into that sink. And then we found out what it was. We had the guy come, and he had to basically jackhammer that stuff out of the pipe. And then we didn't have another issue for another couple of years. He did warn us that it probably would happen again because of the way the pipe in the backyard is. It's just unavoidable. So we try our hardest not to let anything that's not supposed to go down the drains. We do the whole, the plumber gave us some pipe cleaner. But it's inevitable. So a couple of years later, I was the lucky person who pooped, tried to flush it, and it didn't want to go down. So then we knew that the same situation was happening because we tried to plunge it. It wouldn't plunge. And it's essentially like, okay, well, that's not where the problem is. So the plumber had to come, and my poop was the one that was just hanging out in the toilet when he had to come fix everything.
While he was down there doing his thing.
Yeah. And I begged my boyfriend not to let... I mean, obviously he wouldn't. This is another thing, like, who thinks of this? But, like, I didn't want them to know that it was my poop that was in the toilet.
Please
so I was just, like,
them.
begging them. Let's just not discuss whose poop is in the toilet. Who would do that anyways? Who would be like, oh, by the way, plumber, this is her poop that's in the toilet. I just want you to... Nobody does that, but I was so panicked that they would find out it was my poop. He probably knew. Men's poop is, like, so much bigger than women's. He probably was like, this is definitely her dainty little poop.
I don't know. I've had very manly poops.
That I have had significant poops, too, but...
No, the real question is, would that boyfriend... is this the current boyfriend?
Yeah. The current house, too.
I think I know the answer. Would he have taken ownership of the poop to save you?
Oh, yeah.
And your reputation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Knight in shining armor.
Take notes, men.
Modern day knight in shining armor.
If your lady is poop embarrassed and you have to call specialists, you take ownership of the poop. Save her.
Yeah, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
This is what modern chivalry is.
So many people have similar stories, and so many people have been through embarrassing situations or situations in general that are not that much different than, the person standing next to you. And I think we all just get in our own head. You're going to do stupid things and make stupid decisions, but we're here to let you know that we do the same thing, and we want you to be able to listen to stories that make you cringe a little bit, but they also make you laugh. I want you to learn a little bit. And I hope that we can just make life a little bit more playful, make it a little bit more fun. And I hope it's a place that people can come and just enjoy taking an hour out of their day to put a smile on their face. And I'm just really excited to kind of dive into all of it and hopefully give people a place to learn, but also a place to laugh and a space to answer your questions. That's ultimately, I think, the goal for me.
I think that's a great way to put it. It is an excellent goal, because it is. At the end of the day, guess what? The world is a fucking shit show out there, and we're all going through it. So it'll be really fun if this is a place that everyone can come to just relax, put their feet up, just get a good giggle. I can tell you that we already have a lot of topics lined up. I'm excited to share. We are going to talk to some of our friends who have their most embarrassing stories. We are planning to read some Reddit stories and share some of that funny stuff. But we're also going to talk to scientists. We know a few marine biologists, and they're going to explain, in animal rescue, why is poop important when you're trying to recuperate an animal, or people who work on ships and how does a toilet work. I would love to talk about all kinds of topics. We want to talk to doctors and try to understand what is the perfect poop, right? We all have all kinds of weird poops. Did you guys know that there is actually a poop scale? There is a graph that you can use to catalog your poop and figure out if it's perfect or not. Who invented the toilet? There was a point where we all just pooped in like a bucket under a bed. So where did the toilet and plumbing come from? All kinds of topics. It doesn't just have to be funny, embarrassing ones.
I'm interested to talk. I would love to talk to somebody at some point on this show who has a colostomy bag.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that would be super interesting just to learn about what life is like with a colostomy bag and how it changes your day-to-day life and, what it's like essentially having your poop end up on the outside of it ends up on the outside of your body at some point when you go to the bathroom. But the fact that you have the bag that's rerouting your colon or your intestines,
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like we said, right? It's not just a funny stuff, like genuine interest and real knowledge. So this is something that is going to cover all kinds of topics, whether it's educational, funny. So hopefully you'll get something out of this, whether it is a good laugh or maybe it'll be an answer to your IBS question. We want to spread awareness and understanding about a lot of these topics. I'm hoping that this podcast will have a very long life and we can cover all of them.
I agree.
So if you have a cool story, related to poop, or if you have a funny story or a fun fact, medically, historically, whatever, that you want us to share on the podcast, please write in. Tell us about it. You can DM us on Instagram. You can email us. We would love to hear from you. Or if you have a question that you want us to investigate on your behalf, we would love to get those answers for you and share them on the podcast.
I love it.
So I think this is an excellent place to wrap up. We're super excited to share this podcast with you guys. Please pay attention to any place where you listen to podcasts. We will be bringing you the next episode soon, and we really hope you guys like it as much as we like to talk about it.
Yeah. So welcome to Shituations with Jess and Kristen, and we'll see you all back at the next episode.